Welcome to The Hook,
where music and art come together
with the people that created it. I'm Johni.
I'm Jess.
You're on The Hook. Today on The Hook, we're sitting down with Richmond artist and musician Sarah Frances Santamaria. Sarah was born in Richmond and grew up in Chesterfield County. As a kid, she was already deeply creative, an illustrator, a painter. She later attended our very own VCU, graduating with a degree in interior design in 1999. Today, she runs her own design company, SFG Designs, founded in 2016. She is also the frontwoman for the Richmond band VEXINE, formed in 2012 with members of the Velvet Marias. Her husband and creative partner, Jorge Santamaria, is the drummer for the band. VEXINE has released 3 studio albums of original music, many featuring Sarah's songwriting and lyrics. Sarah continues to paint in acrylics, and her artwork appears on the cover of VEXINE's newest album, The Light and the Dark in Everything. An exhibit and performance featuring her work is scheduled for August at Cross Mill Arts in Ashland, Virginia.
Sarah Frances is joined today by VEXINE guitarist and songwriter Paul Pearce. We are so excited to have you both with us, and welcome to The Hook. All right, Sarah, I'm going to kick things off with a question about when creativity really became a big part of your life. What age were you when you realized maybe you weren't like the other kids?
Yeah, I was not like the other kids. No, I was always creative. I'd watched my mother in the kitchen, making roses out of icing paste, that kind of thing. And so I started doing that. I remember being 2 years old and I was making icing roses for her. And my uncle was making flower arrangements for events, and I'd get in there and start doing that. But I could always draw. I wrote my first song when I was 8. I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but that's, yeah. So and I've always drawn, I've always painted, always sewn. It's just a thing I enjoyed doing. I like to make things pretty. That's kind of what I was out to do.
And unfortunately, you're listening and not being able to see how very beautiful she is.
Yes.
From head to toe.
Very much.
Head to toe.
My husband said, "You're going to be on radio, right? Why are you where you dressed up?" And I was like, "It's a brand, baby."
Exactly.
That's right. You always you come
Always
ready.
On brand. That's right. That's right.
Well, you will be on video later.
I will.
Yes.
See, Jorge? Nanu.
Now, Paul, what about you? Like, what got you, when did you pick up your guitar? And
Well, I didn't start playing until I was about 14. But when I was like 3 years old, I would just stop what I was doing when I hear a guitar part on the radio.
Nice.
So I think the first song I wrote was about people with bad breath. I don't remember the details of it, but it was about bad breath.
Perfect boy thing.
So yeah, it was. And so when I was 13, my mom got me a real guitar, and it was like one of those things you put it on and you're like, I'm home. And I didn't realize it until I actually started trying to play how much it fit me. And so I've just kind of been that ever since.
And then you heard that Ted Nugent record.
No, not Ted Nugent.
No, it wasn't Ted Nugent.
That was my
Who
first concert.
Was it?
Yeah, Ted Nugent. Memphis Auditorium, 1970.
Love Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
Free for All tour.
I'm jealous.
Queen? What was the song that made you go?
It was, Mountains, Mississippi Queen,
Yeah.
when I was in the first grade, became a hit on WHBQ radio in Memphis. And I would just drop my Hot Wheel or my little Army Man that I was melting with the match. Like, And it would be, that song. And I'd sort of break out into goosebumps and drool a little bit. And even the college kids across the hall from us at the apartments we lived in were like, this kid loves this stuff. Like, they were amazed. And I was like, huh? But yeah, that was when it kind of took root, and it kind of went from there. It took a while for me to pick up the guitar, but once I did, I'd already done a lot of work in my head around it, apparently. So there you go.
Have you done any other, gotten interested in any other instruments or?
Well, I took piano when I was like 7, and I had this mean old lady as the piano teacher. When you hit a wrong note, she'd grab your finger and jam it on the right one. And I was like, you're a scary lady.
Don't crush the eggs.
So I ditched that. That was one of the reasons why when I got back to the music, I was like, I'm not going to do piano. I have bad memories. I'm triggered by everything. So I picked this guitar.
Well, we're awful glad you did.
Thank you.
And going back to the cooking.
Yeah.
So I love to cook too. But here's the thing, not even just the cooking, because from what I understand and we're hearing, you are by far a multifaceted artist. You studied interior design at VCU. You paint. You design your own clothes.
I didn't make this. I make mostly headdresses now. I'm not sewing as much anymore.
Oh, I got some pictures of that.
Oh, you definitely need to share with us. And of course, music. And again, you're an amazing chef. They're all very different creative worlds. Do you feel connected? Like music and cooking, for me, that's huge for me.
Oh, yeah.
I love to have certain music on when I'm cooking or when you paint or whatever.
It's funny. I don't listen to a lot of music.
Oh.
I really don't. You know, when they say you march to the beat of your own drum, I don't know. I listen to jazz. I like opera. That's what I listen to. Stuff that doesn't have words. And it puts me in this trance-like state when I'm painting or doing anything creative. Words distract me. And so I can't get into that zone that I need to be into. But when it's time to write, I'm listening to the music that he makes. He usually comes up with the guitar riff first and then, or the whole song, we'll lay it out. And maybe Jorge's in the room, maybe Mike's in the room. We hash out something and then I'll put lyrics to it. And I have to have complete and utter focus. He's having coffee.
It smells so good.
I know.
Oh, yeah. This keeps me alive.
I know.
So, yeah. But there are times like when we're making pasta, I'm going to put on the Italian cooking music channel on Spotify or whatever. And, you know, Liz has been a part of that. Paul's been a part of that, where we just...
we do a lot of dinner parties.
A lot of dinner parties. That's our thing. We enjoy it. It's nice to have... I'll do theme nights, you know, for dinner parties. And I don't know. We just have a good time.
We are just a call away.
Oh, really? You know what?
It will happen.
It'll happen.
Yep.
I love to entertain. I just think that's the most fun thing in the world. And I think that started from when I was a kid. My mother always took us to yard sales. You know, we didn't have a lot of money when we were kids, but my parents, we had everything we could possibly ever want. And part of which was that my mother went to yard sales and she was like, you see that right there? For 10 cents, that's crystal. Ding. See what that sounds like? Or that beaded purse from 1930. You see that? That's beautiful. And I would spot things that were beautiful. Now, I don't know that I ever would have had a sip of champagne in my life if the glassware wasn't pretty. But damn it, I love a pretty glass. That's what I collected, a beautiful glassware, silver, and I wanted to use it. I didn't want it just sitting in a cabinet. And I thought, oh my gosh, this person's getting rid of an entire set of china for $10 that probably was, you know, several $100s. And I'm going to use it for what it's for. So that's one reason I like to entertain so much, is just to use the crap that I have that, that I think is so pretty.
Yeah, I love that. That's fantastic.
Well, and growing up like that with your mom, going to, you saw many types of outfits, old vintage to people's ideas of what. That's probably what also helped you with designing. And
absolutely. Yeah. I just like beautiful things, and I like discovering treasures. I like finding something that's horribly, I don't know, hidden in the dirt and to clean it off and make it beautiful and celebrate it. So that's something I just adore.
So it seems like you were doing a lot of different creative things through college, and then you kind of leaned into the music.
I did. Well, when my husband and I got together, he had 3 children. So I'm a stepmother to 3 boys, 3 men. But this was 22 years ago. They were all musicians, the kids and my husband, they were all musicians. And when Jorge got into playing music, he was in a band called the Velvet Marias. And one day they were playing a song that the lead singer didn't know the words to. And so he said, hey, Sarah, Jorge said, hey, Sarah knows the words to this song. And I came downstairs, and I think it was a song by Southern Culture on the Skids, Voodoo Cadillac, that's what it was. And so I came down and sang the song, and the 2 guys that were in the band said, if she's not in the band, you're out the band. And he was like, thanks,
that's
guys.
awesome.
But that's not the whole story of your discovery.
It's not the whole story. No, there is more to that.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
Oh, my God.
But there's the karaoke night.
We're opening the hood.
Oh, okay.
The karaoke night. I wasn't there,
You weren't
unfortunately.
there. I wish, you know,
I would have fallen out of my chair.
This was pre-Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the Stratford Grill?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was down the strip from Rock Falls Tavern.
Right.
Whoa.
Well, Yeah, now it's Galley. Well,
The smoking bar is Rock. Yeah.
Rock
Falls,
where
they
you can
still smoke there.
You still come out there and you're like, hey, how you doing?
Can confirm they still smoke there.
I used to love to smoke in bars. Anyway, I don't do that anymore.
I do.
I know. I miss it. It took 20 years to not look at a pack and be like,
I love it.
But anywho, a girlfriend of mine said, hey, let's go to Stratford Grill and hang out. Just meet me there. And I was like, okay, sure. Went and had a beer, and they were doing karaoke. And there weren't very many people in the bar. And this one guy got up and he looked like Santa Claus. Like he was like, if Santa Claus was on meth and wore a members only jacket, he had on a Santa Claus hat.
Only jacket.
And he kind of had like maybe it was more of a Robert E. Lee thing going on, but like he had the beard but this gray members only jacket and a Santa hat. He got up and sang "Because I Got High" by Afro Man.
Oh my God.
And Funky
Great
Cole
song.
Medina. And I was like, man, how could anybody follow that act? That was great. My husband, we weren't married yet. He came in and met us, my friend Julie and I. You know, when Julie and I walked in, I don't think a lot of chicks went to that bar.
What?
And so there were like 3 old dudes at the bar, and they were like, on their little bar stools, and turned around as we walked in. And, you know, Jorge likes to say they had 1 set of teeth, yes, between them.
Now, Jorge was there, right?
He was there at this point, right? So the first time, I did go up and sing with Julie the first time, and I sang like a half-ass version of "Honey, I'm Home" by Shania Twain. She and I sang that together. So that was all well and fine. And I sat down and I was a little nervous. I was like, I don't do this stuff. I got my courage got up a little bit, and I was like, well, I will do one by myself. I'd never done it before.
That courage was aided.
That courage was aided by something called Michelob Ultra.
Oof.
I don't know. That's before I drank. I mean, that's when I drank beer. I don't
Yeah,
drink
most
beer.
people say tequila.
Tequila. No.
You're Michelob Ultra.
Yeah, Michelob Ultra. Yeah, I'm not a good beer drinker. Like if I drink 2 beers, I'm on the floor.
Well, it is motivated by alcohol.
Alcohol is what got me there. So this is the whole reason I'm a singer. So drink, children, okay? Always say yes to karaoke and drink beer. I'm kidding. I went up and I said, I'm only going to do this if I know all the words to it without looking. And the only song in the book that I knew all the words to was "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner. I know.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought it?
Oh my gosh.
Who would have thought a sweet little old girl from Chesterfield would know
That's
all
awesome.
those lyrics? So I got up and I sang "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner. And Jorge said all the little guys at the bar went, damn, you know. So it was kind of fun. But the cool part is that 5 years later, as the Velvet Marias, we opened up for Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, we did.
And that was
No
really
way.
cool. Yeah.
Over at Innsbruck.
At Innsbruck,
after-
yeah.
Nice.
All right,
That
we're
was-
going to have to dive down that story.
That was
Yes.
such a random, like, I can't believe we got the gig, but I don't know why.
We were supposed to open for Foreigner, remember?
Yeah.
And it got rained out.
Worried out.
I got a chance to meet Leonard Skinner too, and they are a lot of fun, I will
Lot of
say.
fun. And Peter Keys, their keyboard player, we still keep in touch on Facebook. He's one of those guys that he'll still do session work. You know, it's like he's just got this really cool gig right now with Skinnerd, and
Yeah, a lot of
he
lot of
probably
guys.
plays with 14 other bands when they're not touring with them. You know, and it's pretty cool. But he's a neat guy.
Living the rock and roll dream.
I know, right?
I miss
Perfect.
Innsbruck. I mean, Innsbruck was just, somebody take that over, please.
I know.
Something local like that again. We actually went and saw Billy Idol, and my now 31-year-old was 8 years old, and she's a singer. And she started singing in the back of our car on the way to the beach when she was maybe 6 or 7. She had headphones on, so she was unaware that we could hear her. And she started singing Billy Idol, and it was flawless. She remembered every lyric. She remembered every line. And so she was obsessed with Billy Idol. It was the weirdest thing. And then he came to Innsbruck, and a friend of ours was dating a Henrico cop, kind of a douche, but he was doing security there. And so he got her backstage. And I've got a picture of my daughter with Billy Idol. And the most amazing thing about that picture is that her eyeballs were shining like you can't imagine what was captured in her eyes of just complete and utter awe that she was standing next to Billy Idol. And I've heard he can be kind of a jerk, but he was so sweet to the kids.
That's so
He was
sweet.
so sweet he was very, very sweet. So maybe he's calmed down.
Everyone mellows with age.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And if you saw her daughter's eyes, I mean, the prettiest eyes you'll ever see. And her voice, for real, is off the charts.
It really is. It really is. Okay, we're back.
Hi.
We tend to dive down the rabbit hole occasionally. Okay, so VEXINE is such a sexy name. You got to tell me where you got it from.
That came from literally writing 500 different name ideas on a sheet of paper.
Oh my God.
It was utter and complete
That is the most painful thing
Seriously?
a band has to do is pick a
pick-
name. Because all the good ones are taken. And then you come up with, you just start making stuff up like, I don't know, Lamo the Clown, you know.
You're like, do we need a the name? It needs to be a the name. And so then we're like, the this, the that. And then we're like, no, that's not us. That's not going to work. And
That one's taken.
That one's taken. And I wrote down VEXINE because I had been reading a lot of Jane Austen. I know. And she's always terribly vexed. Everyone's terribly vexed in Jane Austen books. And so you vex me. I'm terribly vexed. And so I wrote down VEXINE. And Liz Pearce, hi.
My wife.
Can you please call VEXINE from the porch?
Oh my God.
That's what you asked her to do?
VEXINE, you get in here off the porch, girl. Come on, VEXINE. It
That's
does.
Paul's wife, by the way.
That's Paul's
she
wife,
got to
Liz.
join us today.
Hello, darling. But we liked it because it sounds like sex.
Yeah.
Sounds like vixen. This was pre-pandemic. It also sounds like vaccine.
Yeah, but
We didn't know that.
Yeah, that wasn't part of it.
Our friend Harry Collett's Jr. said that he wrote an article once about me, and he said that we were the problem and the cure. The vixen and vaccine was vaccine. So,
Brilliant.
yeah.
Oh, I love that.
The problem and the cure.
We're both good and bad.
That's exactly right. The light and the dark and everything.
Oh, look at you.
See what I did? I plugged our new record.
I love it. I do. I love the title, and I definitely want to hear more about that. Y'all been together a long time.
Yeah.
We've watched their children grow up.
Okay.
Yeah, so my youngest is in college now.
Wow. Okay.
And one of the songs I wrote about him.
Mm-hmm.
So when he was a baby, and we
and was
recorded
1.5 years old.
it. Yeah, and we recorded it, and so we'll play that later.
Oh, yay. Yeah. So what brought you guys together? Who was first? Who was second?
Well, we were the Velvet Marias. I was brought into the band, as I was saying, when I could sing Voodoo Cadillac. Paul was the second guitar player we had. The first one left because, his kids were at that delicate age where they needed more attention. They were high school, middle school age.
Not good to be out on a Friday and Saturday night until 3 in the morning. Yeah.
Exactly. So Paul, his kids weren't old enough yet to realize that he was gone that late at night because they were in bed, right?
Yeah, that and my day job had me traveling a lot too.
Yes, exactly.
Dad's gone. We know this.
We know Dad's gone. No, but he came in and we enjoyed playing with the Velvet Marias for a while. I think you were in the band for how long? 2 years or 3 years?
Well, it was 2008, and then in 2012
12 we started.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we started
so-
VEXINE in 2012.
Yeah, so what ended up happening was Paul and I started writing a lot of songs together that were different than the vibe. It was an alt country band, and we just hit it off as songwriting partners. And that worked really well. And I was getting my courage up. I grew up in this band, so to speak. I had never been on stage. I had never, other than middle school play, elementary school play. Okay. Not anything serious. But when I started to realize, okay, I can do this, and it's a great way to express myself as opposed to just being the girl singer. And over time, I learned how to do it. And I learned little things like, that Talladega Nights where he says, I don't know where to put my hands. And, that's how you feel when you get on stage, when you don't know what you're doing and you don't have a guitar in front of you. I was like, damn, I wish I knew how to play guitar. At least I could have something to hold. But instead, I just put my right hand up in the air. That's what the left hand goes out like this and right hand goes up in the air. And that's how I sing.
I love it. And it looks like you're so theatrical anyway, and you're so colorful. Yeah.
It fits. And I try to just take up space on stage. Like I've told Liz before, I like to take up space. As a woman, I think we should do more of that. I'm not a wallflower, and I didn't play a good one on TV. So, I thought I'd just be myself. Well, that's what I am when I'm on stage now, is I am truly me, wide open.
Well, and this took a while to develop.
It did.
Because at first you were blue jeans and,
I was blue
a nice
jeans.
top and a flower in your hair.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is how rock and roll people dress, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, our bass player would he dressed for rock and roll, like by whatever he was mowing the grass in that day. You know, he just kind of show up in cargo pants.
Yeah.
And so the rest of us started giving him a lot of grief about it. Like, come on, Mike, don't wear that Charlie Brown t-shirt again.
That's what he wore to the Leonard Skinner show. Oh, no, he wore Schoolhouse Rock to the Leonard
Yeah,
show.
Nice.
Yeah, he did. So we were giving him grief, and we had this show at the National, and he said, now, this is a big show now, Mike, you got to do something. So he shows up in an honest-to-God suit.
And he looked great.
And he looked great, like hat and everything. Like, whoa, Mike, what happened?
That's great.
And
Did he just set the aesthetic for the band?
He totally did.
He did.
And that's how all of this started to happen.
Yes.
And it started, I don't know where it really got started with you, but it was like at some point, it was like we looked at each other and went, this is taking a life of its own.
Now we're like cartoon characters.
It just clicked.
So now my aesthetic is more like, if Marie Antoinette had to take all the jewelry she owned and had to ride horseback for 3 miles to get away from where she was, that's my look on stage.
Well, for the young kids, it's the pre-apocalypse Fallout 4 aesthetic.
I totally get that.
See?
Oh my gosh, my son played that forever and ever. That's his favorite.
So
He still plays
it's
it.
sort of this quasi mid-century thing. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but lots of crinoline.
There's a whole lot of dress going on.
So how many layers of crinoline is your record?
Oh, I don't know. I look like a plus sign, I think, because it stands out to the side.
Yeah, it does.
I can put my hands on it and hold them up.
Wow.
Set a drink on it.
Set a drink on it.
What I love about all of this is for anybody coming up and kind of trying to figure out their identity is to understand that it is not an immediate thing. Everything
it's not.
evolves. You have to figure
really
out
does.
who you are.
Time has a lot to do with it and experience. And people say, oh, I wish I'd known this when I was younger. Well, I couldn't have possibly known when I was younger what it was going to take to get there. And I think you have to allow yourself grace to grow into who you are, to grow into your own skin. And I'm 51 years old. I've never been more comfortable than I am now. And music has had a lot to do with it. A lot to do with it.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
One of the problems of performing live, especially in front of strangers, especially in front of lots of strangers, is the whole anxiety thing you get in your head, you know? And so what the dressing up does is it gives you a place to put all of that.
Yeah, it's like a superhero costume.
It becomes like a prop that you can just say, okay, I'm freaking out, but I've got my stage face on and my stage outfit on. I'm not here. I'm really not here. I'm compartmentalizing. and it really does help.
It's theater. You become somebody else.
It's funny. Liz and I play canasta together. And I use the word play canasta loosely because we don't.
You play at canasta.
We all go together with the intent of playing canasta, and then we don't do shit but talk and eat food. We played this game the other day going around the table saying, are you an introvert or an extrovert? My mom was there, and Liz was an extrovert. I'm an introvert extrovert. And my mom said in front of everybody, she said, you're two different people. And I was like, well, maybe I could see, because Mom sees me when she comes over to the house and I've been painting all day and I come down with my hair in a bun and I'm wearing a flannel shirt and mixed-matched pajama bottoms and no makeup. And that's me. That's just as me. I don't care who sees me. But seeing me with feathers coming out of my hair and plus sign crinolines. And then it was discussed, maybe that's it's a character. It's not exactly that the stage persona is a character. It is me. It's like the frog in the box. You know, on Looney Tunes, you take the top off the shoebox and the frog, hello, my baby, hello, my darling, hello, my sweetie.
I loved him.
Yeah. That's me. And there's a lot of times where I'm just like, ribbit. I don't want to do anything because it takes days for me to recover. Not that it's physically exhausting to get up and do that. I'm just wiggling around. I'm not doing anything, high kicks or anything. I can be around 5,000 people and be completely at ease. But like I said to them the other day, sitting around a table with 6 women, I'm less comfortable doing that than I am being in front of 5,000 people. And that's just...
Yeah, it's a headspace.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know what to do with my thumbs. I'm so flamboyant that being still feels funny. I'm like, I'm rocking and I don't know why.
I think that's true for a lot of creatives, though. When you're kind of on, you're on. And then in a slower setting, harder to find your bearings sometimes.
Well, we've talked about this, something Paul and I both have in common. Basically, we're twins separated at some weird birth. We don't understand what happened. Neither one of us like to go see live music.
Wow.
I get antsy when I'm sitting there, and it's not that I want to be on the stage taking their place. That's not it. It's just that I don't know what to do. So
You need general admission.
I need, yeah.
Right out there in the front of the stage,
Well, yeah.
arms waving.
When I could smoke, it made sense.
Back in the 80s in the punk days, you had a pit that
And that I was good at the mosh
that was
pit.
that was very helpful. I liked that.
That was very helpful.
I was a little gal in a mosh pit, and I enjoyed it very much. That's right. I used to go down to the Flood Zone and Twisters. Used to go see shows at Twisters and all those places. And
We have something in common. My husband's a drummer.
oh, okay.
But back in the day, his band played at Flood Zone and the one before it.
Oh,
you just
my
mentioned.
God,
This was before I got to Richmond, so I didn't know. But they were called the Slap Daddy Derelicts.
I know that name.
I'm glad
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Points for that name, man.
Yeah,
That's
right. Well, speaking of names, good name. Yeah.
Forget that one. Oh
What
my
is
gosh.
it like though, being in a band with your mate, your partner?
Sometimes Paul and Mike say, "Mom, Dad, stop fighting," but we're kind of past that now. But there,
No, I wouldn't say that. But anyway,
we have the unique ability to turn on business and turn off business. We usually have a little business meeting once a day because he's my business partner as well with my design firm. My design firm. I sit in my pajamas and design things.
in a firm.
In a firm. He said firm.
She said firm.
We're much better at rehearsals now than we used to be. Have a little tiff and it would get a little out of hand, and
Well, back in the old days, we drank a ton.
we used to drink a lot in
Oh my
rehearsal.
God! Yes.
And we don't do that
Yeah,
anymore.
we can't do that anymore.
No, we're like,
So there's a maturity level there.
I think that's
you know,
what it is.
like you said, y'all grew up together,
Yeah, yeah.
especially you.
So we're going to call that maturity. Actually, my husband looked at me the other day and he just kept looking at me. And I was like, what? And he goes, oh, I watched you grow up.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, how am I going to take that? And I was like, why did you say that? And he was like, oh shit, here we go. And he was like, no, it's just the same eyes. And I was like, what about the rest of me? What are you trying to say?
Were you there for that,
He
Paul?
wasn't there for that. But that's ahead. Everybody's been there. Yeah. No. And then he was like, no, really? 22 years is a long time.
Relationship goals.
Relationship goals.
I think if you added up all my marriages, I'd be at 22.
That counts.
I think so. I think
It
so.
does count. It counts a lot. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your new album.
Yes.
You did the artwork. What song on the album made you feel like this is it?
I think it's as a collective whole.
The songs have very specific context to us.
Yes, to us. yeah.
So like 19 Hours is
19
your
Hours.
experience evacuating New Orleans during the hurricane. To me, the light and dark thing is Pearls and Bullets,
Yeah.
because that's such a grim song. It's just interesting. And the other songs are like that,
Yeah.
So
I think every one of them, I went through the songs that we had written, and we picked out we have several other songs that we did not include on this record that we haven't released yet, just because they didn't quite fit the same vibe that these did.
Yeah.
And the common theme was loss, whether it was of innocence, of childhood, of a person, of a relationship, of a home, and trying to look for the bright side in all of these situations. And that's how we survive and thrive, is to, as dark as the days can be, and, in the days we live in now, you've got to find some light somewhere in there. Otherwise, you go down that hole and you never get back out. And so duality was very important to be represented. I think it is represented in these songs. That's how we were feeling as we were creating the record. And the album art, kind of a play off of an old cover that we had, which was VEXINE, which was our third record, is on the front of the album. There's a box that's open, and you see me sitting, the boys are standing behind me. And when you turn the record over, you see the back and you see the box is open, and you're now looking from my perspective, looking at the box. The reflection of me is in the little mirror. It's one of those jewelry boxes with the little ballerina. Oh, the little ballerina is VEXINE. And the things in the jewelry box are all pieces that are referenced from the songs.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool thing. We wanted you to have that experience where you sit down and listen to the whole album in totality. The album opens up, when you open your jewelry box, and it ends with that creepy ass winding of the music box.
That's on the vinyl.
Oh, that's
on the
brilliant.
vinyl. It's
I
not
love
going to be
that.
on the digital release, but on the vinyl it is there.
It was too hard to work it out.
We need to go back to vinyl.
I
We
love
do.
vinyl.
I know.
And it's lipstick red. It is gorgeous.
It is. And you look gorgeous too. Paul, you're cute too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he's got a little Harrison Ford thing going on.
I know. He does.
I know.
You guys, that album is very different from your previous
Yes,
albums.
that's why I wanted you
you
to
rock
hear it.
out. I jammed out to you while I was cooking.
Why, thank you. Well, again, maturity comes with it. Personally, my songwriting has changed. I've had more experiences. I also know more about music. I was not a baby, but a complete newbie when it came to songwriting. And I credit Paul as being my teacher because he never has been a jerk to me when it comes to songwriting. He's always been very, whatever. Other instances, sure. But
Sure.
I'm kidding.
Especially when we drank. Man, in rehearsal. No.
Oh, God.
Well, it was a thing where when we started working together, you'd written a couple of songs on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And, you had this great voice and terrific pitch. And it was just a matter of helping you concentrate.
Need to lasso that calf and
Just concentrate on the structures you were trying to put together. And that's what every, writer needs is an editor, if not just someone to give you feedback about it, right? Mm-hmm. As you go. That's how the Velvet Maria's tunes were. And some of those songs came out.
They're still good.
They're still great.
They're still good songs. I like them still.
And on the subsequent releases, we had the working relationship of the band got more and more, I would say, productive.
Yeah.
And so finally on this record, what was different about it was that you guys had pulled up stakes and moved to New Orleans, and the rest of us were up here for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic hit. During that time, I had nothing to do, like everybody, you were stuck inside. And I would send all these recorded instrumental things down to them. Mm-hmm. You would send back like, okay, here's some lyrics I did to it, because Jorge has a little studio in his house, I do in mine. And so we just bounced those tunes back and forth for a good 2 years.
Talk about time. That's the other thing with this record is that it took almost 7 years. Whereas
to be done.
I think the Velvet Maria's record, did we put that together in like a month?
Easy.
It was
Easy.
Allowing yourself time to get over demo love is a big deal because demo love was the hardest thing for me when I first started songwriting. It's like, no, I like it the way it was before. When you did and I like this lyric.
You're like, see why that doesn't work?
See why that sounds terrible, Sarah? I'm like, got it. So yeah, that's been great, and I trust his opinion on the direction we're going in, or if something's cheesy or too flaky, or I'm not talking about biscuits and grits either, but.
It's so interesting hearing this for me because my husband and I work together too, but from an ad agency. So we're doing creative design and websites and logos and things like that. And it's very similar, though, to what you just said, where I'll put something together really quick and think that it's great, and he'll come in and I have to learn to, sit back and go, you know what? Whatever he's about to tell me is exactly what needs to happen, and it's going to perfect it. But it can be hard if there's ego, which it sounds like you guys have gotten.
You have to be willing to give up a little bit of ownership in the idea.
Yes. And that's difficult.
That makes all the difference in the world because then you can improve it. So when you're sitting down, you're so close to a design that you're working on, you've been on it for 20 hours or something, you just really cram and you lose perspective because all you've been doing is concentrating on these little details. And it takes someone with fresh eyes to come in and go, oh, this isn't working because blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, I worked so hard on it. And that's no good.
Just getting over yourself,
Right.
And it's nice to have, I don't know, it's a safe space to be able to work in. He's kind of like my big brother that walks in and I'm like, what do you think about my dress? Isn't it pretty? He's like, stupid looking, and then you just
you look dumb.
You look dumb.
And I push over your lamp and I slam the door.
That's right. Stop. Get your sandwich off my floor, But, that's the kind of relationship it is that we're honest. I don't go home crying, and he might. Liz, does he go home crying?
No.
That's because the rehearsals are at your house. You're already home.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and you have the trust. I mean,
Yes, it's true.
really
After all this time, we're just old friends at this point.
Exactly. And that's the thing about the band is that we are all very close. We do a lot of stuff together. And Liz and Paul are two of my favorite people in the world to hang out with. And Mike and Lori, too. Mike is the bass player. I should say his name, Michael Skiffington. He's an excellent bass player.
Jazz man.
He's a jazz man.
For real.
Love that.
Absolutely. And his wife, Lori, is an angel sent from heaven. Her goal is to make everybody happy. And she's just a darling woman.
I feel like it's probably incredibly unusual to have everybody in a band and their partners all get along like that.
That's 1 in a million like that.
1 in a million.
Other bands I've been in, it's been like all of the VH1 dramas. It's like,
behind the music,
Well, there's so much passion involved. It was like you were saying you have to give something up if you're going to work with people.
Right. And some people just aren't able to do that. A lot of bands get together for the music and they don't really know each other for the longest time. And then when they do discover what one another is about, sometimes that breaks it up. This was just sort of a different thing. I came into this band after years and years of doing other bands and stuff. And this one I just eased into because I was burned out and these guys were easy to deal with and we had fun playing together. And then over time we developed really close friendships. So that is unusual for real.
Yeah.
This is good advice for up and coming or budding artists or people putting together bands. That I think the biggest thing that I heard here is you've got to learn that everybody is bringing their passion to the table.
Absolutely.
And you have to let them do that too. No matter if it is your baby or whatever. Her and I get along. We've realized we get along so good because we know each other's strengths and you just let it happen.
Exactly.
And leave the ego at the door.
Yeah.
The ego at the door.
Yes.
Because when you put it together, what comes out is greater than the sum, right? So you get a sound or a set of songs or an energy that you would never be able to do on your own. And no matter how good the musician is, it's all about the chemistry of it. That's when you really find something special. I was really encouraged by that Beatles documentary that Peter Jackson did, and it showed them writing in real time back in the day. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what we
how
do.
It is. Yeah.
I thought I was just an amateur, but the pros, the legendary ones, do the same thing.
I was like, this 5 hour
that was gratifying.
Beatles thing is a giant band practice. That's all this is.
But the difference is they're the Beatles.
They're the Beatles.
Well, you are VEXINE.
That's nice.
We need a documentary about a podcast so we can see if we're doing things right.
Oh my gosh. I just went down a rabbit hole on that one.
About that?
So, as you have said, you spent time living in New Orleans. Love New Orleans. Isn't that right?
Yes.
New Orleans.
New Orleans. New Orleans.
What influence did that have on your art and music?
A lot. Well, there was the pandemic.
You guys were made for each other. You in New Orleans.
New Orleans, we were made for each other. And although, no, it's not true.
I'm not letting you off the hook.
No.
The first year they lived down there.
It was lovely.
It was the pandemic and they did reverse parades for Mardi Gras.
Yeah, that Yardi Gras. We decorated our houses. I'm an official member of the crew of house floats. You decorate your house and people come by in their car because Mardi Gras was canceled.
Love that.
21.
Well, she makes the paper with her outfit,
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's in the Times Picayune. I'm thinking she's only been there a year, and look what she's done.
I know.
She owns it.
Yeah,
she is
so
New Orleans.
you guys were made for each other.
A friend of mine down there in New Orleans. Are you allowed to cuss on this?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, can I say a wordy dirt?
A wordy dirt.
Well, our friend Reggie, he owned a club down there or ran a club down there, and he said, "Girl, I have never met two people in my life that were thrown into the social deep end in New Orleans and could fucking swim." And I was like, oh,
yeah,
that might be the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Thank you.
That tracks.
It does. But it was true. I mean, we just went in and we did it and we had a great time. It's hard to live there. I'd never experienced evacuations before. Growing up in Chesterfield County, Virginia.
You didn't evacuate.
We didn't evacuate. I heard stories about Hurricane Betsy and things like that from before I was born, from the 60s. We evacuated one hurricane season. We evacuated 5 times. And the one that got to my soul was Ida, because Hurricane Ida was one of those things that started out as it said it's going to be a Category 2. And then we were like, well, we're just going to stay. We don't need to leave. And everybody on the street, everybody on Elmira Avenue where we lived said, no, we're just going to stay. Then they said, hey, guys, radio was like, Category 3, y'all might want to get out. And so everybody evacuated at the same time, which means the I-10 west going towards Texas was bumper-to-bumper traffic. And when I mean standstill traffic, I mean standstill.
Now, I-10 runs right through the middle of everything. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's outside of town. It's just right. I went to high school down there. We have a lot of connections with New Orleans. And it runs right through the middle of town, and it goes west to Houston. So when everyone evacuates, boom, they all hit it. They all get on from like within a couple of blocks of their house, right? Yeah. So it backs up really fast.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a big bottleneck.
Well, there's a new documentary recent that's come out about Katrina.
Oh.
And they show that.
Let me tell you something that's crazy. So the song on our record is called 19 Hours. 19 Hours to Texas is the line in the song. And that's why I wrote the song. So we dragged the camper behind us when we evacuated. We had 5 things of fuel in the back of the truck and a couple of sandwiches. We ran out of gas on the way because there was no gas between New Orleans and Lafayette. So that's almost to the border of Texas. So it should have taken us 4 hours to get where we were going. It took 19 hours. So I watched that new Katrina thing, and there's a woman in there, and she said it took us 19 hours. It was 19 hours to Texas, and I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I was like, she knows. Everybody knows. If you say 19 hours to Texas, everybody there goes, yeah, I've been there. I've done it.
19 hours to Texas on evacuation day. Scared and hot and tired, and we ain't got much to say. 19 hours to Texas, and that storm keeps rolling in. Baby, please take me where the water can't get. 19 hours to Texas on evacuation day. 19 hours to Texas on evacuation day. 19 hours to Texas on evacuation day. Baby, please take me where the water can't get in.
Now, Jorge grew up down there.
He did.
And I went to high school down there.
Yep.
And in the time I lived there, we never had to evacuate, ever. And I don't think he ever did he? All right. So, yeah, the storms are a lot worse.
They are a lot
worse. The development of the swamplands has created a real problem with flooding because there's no land barrier
There's no
anymore.
barrier. Yeah, I blame Florida.
Well, it's easy to do that.
They really are. They're responsible for everything.
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, it's just different now. And so the storms are a lot worse and the flooding's a lot worse. Those pumps down in New Orleans that were
150 years old.
Oh, yeah, they were on 50 cycle electricity. I mean, they couldn't replace the motors in it. That's why Katrina was so bad. They couldn't pump anything out because those things shorted out. They got flooded out and there was no parts to replace.
Yeah.
They had to redesign altogether. So that's just what it's like down there now. And it used to never do that. The highest point in the city is Bourbon Street. Everything else is under sea level.
Wow, now that's a mind blower for me.
I
know, right?
That's the highest point.
It is.
We lived in Algiers Point. So if you look at New Orleans like a bowl, a saucer,
It is like a saucer.
If you're by the river, you're on the highest point, which seems counterintuitive. But if you're by the river, which is where I was in Algiers
and that's
Point,
the levee.
That's the levee. That's why it's so high. But we were in flood zone X, so we didn't flood. But what did happen during Ida, we were gone for 2 weeks because you couldn't come back into the city. And then when we did get back, we were without power for a month. Because the Entergy tower fell into the Mississippi River. And I remember being so upset. And my parents were threatening to find me in Texas and come down and get me and drive us back. And I was like, I ain't going nowhere.
I could hear Tommy, your dad. Oh, I'm coming down.
I'm coming to get you, girl. So I had to I was supposed to call my mother and tell her how I was. And when I found out about the Entergy tower falling in, and it was going to be, they said it could be 6 months with no power. And we just bought this house. I had to text her because I said, if I start crying, I will never stop. And I know if I talk to my mama, I'm going to cry. That did something to me that day. It just, something in there went, you know what?
Time to go.
Time to go. I'm a smart gal. And I was like, where's the safest place I could live? The opportunity came up to buy my grandmother's estate in Chesterfield County. And we moved back here. We've had the land since the 1700s.
Wow.
So I'm 7th generation landowner to live there. And so that's what brought us back. Circling back, all of that, New Orleans was wonderful. There's a song on the record called St. Anne.
Oh, God, yeah.
And that is about the St. Anne's Parade on Mardi Gras Day. 19 Hours to Texas, of course, is about evacuating. And then there's one called Pritchard Place. That one is from my husband. I wrote that about him when he was a child living there. When you grow up there, most people I know that grew up in New Orleans want to get out as soon as they can. And everybody that I know that doesn't live in New Orleans wants to go there.
Yeah.
And I think it's because you don't understand how hard it is to live there. I mean, it's a tourist town.
Well,
The infrastructure.
the culture is so friendly.
Everyone is
In
wonderful.
truth, I mean, they'll like your next door neighbor will just like, I got a keg in my front yard. Come on
Yeah,
over.
everybody. I mean,
And it's just so laid back in that way, but it's
so
also.
cool. But you get car sick going to the damn drugstore because you hit so many potholes. And you don't go through a drive-through past dark because you know you're going to get mugged.
First time I was there and I walked into a CVS and
The
realized
liquor!
I could leave with a bottle of vodka.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They still have drive-through daiquiri places.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go cups are the best. The culture shock coming back here, even though I was only gone 3 years, you do feel like you can still leave a bar with a go cup. And they're like, what are you talking about?
There when I was still 14, and then I turned 15 that fall, and I was a sophomore in high school, and I played on the football team at my school, St. Martin's, and after a football game, because I was new, they said, we're having a party over at so-and-so's house at Lakeside. And I said, okay, tell me what to do. And so I went. All these kids are there, and there's watermelon. Apparently, I learned later, spiked watermelon.
Yeah.
And a keg in the backyard, and there's all this food. And the parents were inside. I'm from West Tennessee, and I was taught, you're polite, you go up and shake, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, I'm good to meet you. And then I went outside. Everyone had these solo cups, and you get your beer, Paul. I was, oh, well, I'm in Rome, do as Romans do. And I was, like I said, 15, and the dad comes out, and he comes right at me. And I'm sitting there going, I'm brand new to this school with the spigot, still doing this. And I'm about to get busted, and my life is over, and it's terrible. And he comes up, and I'm just like, hi, how's it going? And he's like, he reached down, and he looked at the keg, and he touched it, and he looked at me. And I thought that was when I was going to get the, young man, you better go home. He goes, is it cold enough? And I was
man.
like,
Good man.
It's cold enough, sir.
Got some
Yes,
crawfish in the house. You want some?
and then he walked away. And that was such a permissive environment. I was like, oh, my God. Back up in Jackson, Tennessee.
Our accents will get worse. As we go through the
I had
program.
friends who were not allowed to listen to rock and roll or dance. And that was the environment that we all grew up in.
And you gotta cut loose.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of immediately. I'm like, oh, Footloose.
Yeah, well, I mean, those were some, not all the kids, but plenty of them. And so I go down to New Orleans, and it's so permissive. I just like my jaw dropped and dragged on the ground for about 3 days. Like I could not believe it. Different place.
Glad to be back in Virginia. Glad to be back with my friends. That's the one thing that I miss the most is that it's when you have lifelong friendships or friendships that are travel decades, you realize, I remember thinking, God, am I ever going to laugh again? Like a real on belly laugh like you do with your friends. You can't manufacture a close friendship. You can have fun with people, but it's not the same as, knowing, hey, I remember when you did that 20 years ago. And
Well, in family, where are the grandkids?
they're all here. So when we went away, we had one granddaughter. We came back 2 3/4. Now we have 4. Varying stages of pregnancy and the fractions there. Both of my grandson, little ones, are currently 3. One turned 3 yesterday.
Oh, Pisces.
Yeah, maybe. The other one will turn 4 May. And then we have one that will turn 9 in October. And the granddaughter will be 16 in November.
I'm ready
do it.
for some music.
Okay. Darling, the sun will come up tomorrow morning, chase away the darkness and the shadows that live around these hills. I won't see anything but you. Oh, I won't see anything but you. Darling, whippoorwill sing its lowest siren, and the midnight train won't ever stop its crying as it rumbles through the night. I won't see anything but you. Whoa, I won't see anything
heaven to live inside your jar? Will you go and join them? Take your place among them in the stars. Darling, ever that you go, I'll follow. If these legs won't let me leave this hollow, I'll be there in my dreams. 'Cause I won't see anything but you. Whoa, I won't see anything but you. Mr. Pierce. Darling, the sun will come out tomorrow morning. If the Sandman catches you sleeping in the world all alone, I'll be there looking over you. Oh, I'll be there looking over you.
Yeah. Awesome.
We haven't done that song in probably 15 years.
Yeah, easy.
It's been a long time.
Well, it's beautiful.
I almost
Can you tell us?
cried.
Can you tell
love
us a little bit about where that all came to
Paul
be?
wrote that one for his third
Yeah,
baby.
my young kid, my young baby. It was just that song you would sing somebody to go to sleep to. So it does remind, my mom used to sing to me every night when I was little, and she'd play Judy Collins songs on her guitar and whatever. That to me was a wonderful experience, and too few kids get that. I was determined to write at least one of my kids would have a song written about him.
But he didn't know it was for him for the longest time.
Because of the name of it and everything else.
But he didn't know it. And we told him, I remember we were at some sort of a show and I said, hey, this song, blah, 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 we haven't done it in a long time, but your daddy wrote this song for you. And he said, what?
What?
I said, how do you not know that? But the kid was 2 years old. He probably
didn't know it, and then
went out of his brain.
And I think when we told him, he was like 13, so he was like, I know.
Stupid, everything's
Everything's dumb.
Everything's dumb. Oh, that's I have to tell you guys something fun that we're doing. Talking about New Orleans and how that's affected me. One of my dearest friends, she moved to New Orleans before I did. She was here in Richmond, and then she moved back after I moved back to Richmond about a year or two later. Well, we have decided to start a Mardi Gras style walking crew called Crew de Clas. We're going to debut at the Easter Parade, and I'm going to be a hatching Fabergé egg.
Beautiful. Get out.
I
With
know.
all your color?
Yes.
I don't know. Rock that, girl.
I have precious few weeks to make this costume, so I may just end up with an egg decorated with a few plastic rhinestones on my head. It could be that I am the egg. I don't know.
It'll be fabulous.
Cuckoo-ca-choo.
Oh, it definitely will be fabulous.
Yes. So if you are at the Monument Avenue Easter Parade and happen to see us, do come by and say hello.
Send us pictures.
Oh, I shall. I shall.
We've done that every year. We dress our dogs up.
Oh,
We're
wonderful.
all in. on
No
that.
way.
Well,
That's a
we're
lot
going to
of
have
fun.
throws to give away. We're going to do it up. It's going to be fun. We're hoping to have a brass band by next year when we do this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we want to make parading more fun here in Virginia. We've been to a lot of parades around here. There's the Cone Parade. There's the Puppet Parade in Oregon Hill. But we'd like to just, parades are to be fun.
Yeah.
We want them to be fun,
Bring that New Orleans style.
Let's make it,
right
baby.
to
And
We can do it.
We
That
need it.
is New Orleans' gift to the world, is that
Yeah.
spirit right there.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. So we want to bring a little of that here.
I was in this lady's store one day. She had this beautiful paintings everywhere, and they were so full of color or whatever. I'm like, who did this? And she goes, oh, that's me. Whenever I get a song stuck in my head, I'll go home, turn all the lights out, put my paints out, and I just paint in the dark.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Yes.
Does anything overlap?
When I came back from New Orleans, I was not in a very good headspace. I was someone we knew. Her husband had been shot. The whole hurricane thing. It was a lot. And I came
Everything
back.
together.
Yeah. And I've had 7 concussions.
My goodness.
Yeah, she's a collector.
I'm a collector of concussions.
It's a very, very
A purveyor
refined.
of fun
Fun
concussions.
hobby.
Yes. The last one I got, it put me on my ass for about a year and a half.
And that was when you got back here.
That's after I got back.
That was another thing that slowed the album down. You had to recover.
I had to recover.
And we had all this
I couldn't sing. I had to stop singing, and I thought, oh my God, I'm done. I said to myself, one thing I miss is painting, because I had put it aside. And while I sat there on my ass for a year and a half, I said, you know what? If I get out of this, I'm going to start painting again. And I said, I'm going to paint our songs. And that's what I did. The first painting I did was Pearls and Bullets. And then I did one for St. Anne, on and on and on.
Well, this is something we discussed as a band, too, because we had thought about putting out a picture book with the record.
I was just going to say that you should do that.
Yeah, and it's still not off the table. It's just...
and you started painting one painting for each song. Mm. And it just it got a life of its own.
Yeah.
Right?
And then I just started painting what I wanted to, as opposed to forcing myself into just painting the songs. But I completely credit music and art with my full recovery.
Yeah, I would believe that.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's been nice. There was a time when I thought I don't ever want to play music again, because I got really down in New Orleans with the pandemic and all, as so many of us did. And when I came home and then had that head injury, I was like, fuck. I was like, is this somebody trying to tell me something? Am I not supposed to do this? And then I thought, nobody tells me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Don't know how I got this way. Don't know how I found this place. It's somewhere south of heaven, and I don't believe it's heaven. Tend my garden if you please. Pull up roses instead of weeds. Never mind, I'm colorblind. Sometimes I just can't tell. And you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. I've got trouble falling like rain. Trouble falling like rain. Let me take a photograph. Let me take something that will last longer than the dreams that pass deep inside my head. Rivers in these blinking lights, rivers in this dead of night. If I close my eyes, don't wonder why. Your secret's safe with me. And you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. I've got trouble falling like rain. Trouble falling like rain. And you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. Yeah. If you ask me once, just be my man. If you ask me again, just understand. There's a million broken hearts that get lost along the way. And you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. I've got trouble falling like rain. Trouble falling like rain. And you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. I got trouble falling like rain. Trouble falling like rain. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. So good. I have chills. Your voice.
Okay, this was a song I wrote.
This was Velvet Maria's Land.
Yeah, it goes back. It was one of the early ones I showed you guys. But it's just about falling in love with a beautiful person, and you're like, I'm in trouble.
You're not going to write any music if you don't put pen to paper. And the first time I wrote a song, like in earnest, as an adult, not as a child writing about dogs and cats, I sat down and I said, there are people that are a lot dumber than me that have written some great songs. And I said, I think it starts when you take a pad of paper out and put the pen to it and just start writing what I know. And the most successful songs that I've written have been about things that I know. You can make shit up all day long. I mean, you really can. You could write about anything. But if you're not emotionally invested in it, and that's why I think this record means so much to me, is that every single song I'm emotionally invested in. And that's kind of cool. You write what you know, the truth comes out. If I had a therapist and they listened to my record, I think they'd diagnose me in a heartbeat just by listening to what was said.
You know, you talk about the light too. So I think a lot of people are going to relate to this.
There has to be balance. There has to be levity. Like I said, duality. Something can be the best thing that ever happened to you and the worst thing that ever happened to you in the very same sentence. And it doesn't seem like it makes sense, but it's how we get through life, I think.
Favorite place to thrift?
Oh my God. Any Goodwill. Any Goodwill. Except at the beach. You're not going to find shit at the beach.
My basement, all the shit. All the shit that's crammed in storage. Just go over there and find something. Oh, here's a lamp.
Coffee or cocktail while creating?
Cocktail, except I always put my paintbrush in my wine, which is bad.
You mean like when you're painting or whatever, instead of putting it in the cup, you put it in the wine glass? That would suck.
I've killed many a good glass of Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of coffee.
Yes, as he sits sipping on his coffee.
Speed round.
Okay, here we go.
Song you wish you had written?
Oh, my God. I tell you what, there's a little ditty that my friend Amanda just wrote. It's called Underdressed, and it's a little disco tune. She's got a band called the 419 Band. I don't write disco, but I have had it stuck in my head for a week, and I think it's adorable. I'm going to say that one just because I'm like, how do you write such a perky ditty? I don't know how to write perky ditties.
Perky ditties.
Perky ditties.
Oh, my God.
That made Paul blush.
Here he is blushing.
That's right. Because I rhyme things.
See, for me, it's I'm visual, so then I suddenly see things.
Fair point.
Oh, that's hilarious.
All right, how about you? Is there a riff you would have written or a song?
Good Day Sunshine by the Beatles.
Oh my God,
that's a nice one.
I'm
That
a
song,
huge Beatles fan.
The sun comes up for me every time I hear that song. Ever since I was a little kid, and it's just it just makes me happy to listen to it. You know,
I hate to tell you, but that's also a perky ditty.
I was just going to say
those are perky ditties.
I just wanted a reason to say that again. Perky ditty.
That's hang on. That's a pair of perky ditties.
You know what? I'm going to have to needle point that on a pillow for you guys. That can be your slogan.
I love it.
Yes.
Perky ditties. Mm-hmm. Artist who inspires you the most?
Oh
wow.
Gosh, I'm going to say Paul Pearce.
Aww. Dang it. Mine was Prince, because that guy was complete.
Oh.
Yeah.
That guy was a total artist.
Total package.
Sun up to sundown, and he was just unbelievable.
I know it's a speed round, but I got to tell you this. It was 6 months after his death. I was able to go to Minneapolis. A guy that I was seeing who I did not marry.
Claro.
But he was an Aquarius.
Uh-oh.
Took me on a motorcycle ride past Lake Minnetonka.
Oh,
No way.
To Paisley Park.
Oh.
And
I don't even know this story.
I have pictures.
The more you know.
It was so fresh that, I mean, there were blankets and there was art. I mean, people had created art and hung it all around. There was
my goodness.
Stuffed animals. There was flowers. It was just a shrine all the way around. And it was definitely one of the most magical experiences.
He was.
Then that reminds me of my second, which is Dave Chappelle, because of his portrayal of Prince is so brilliantly
Prince
awesome.
and the Revolution.
Dave Chappelle is possibly the most intelligent human on our planet.
He is remarkable.
So, favorite city for art and music?
Oh, Richmond. It is. I
Richmond.
love it here.
I love Richmond. That's my answer, too.
That's wonderful to know. That means we get to keep you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Studio chaos or studio order?
Order.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
John Lennon.
Ooh.
He's dead.
He's so dead. He really did have an incredible vision. I like his salt. I just always liked his soul.
Maybe Lucinda Williams. I'd like to be in her head
Love her.
when she's writing a song.
Oh, yeah.
You know what this is going to lead to, Sarah?
I know. I think we've gotten there already.
Yeah, I think we're here.
No,
We did a lot of Lucinda covers back when we first started playing
Yeah.
music together.
we did.
And then you developed a impersonation of her that's so spot on.
So my friend, my backyard bestie, was a woman named Susan Cowsill, and she has part of a family band called the Cowsills.
The Cowsills from the 60s.
From the 60s that were the inspiration for the Partridge Family. So if you ever looked up the Cowsills, The Rain in the Park and everything, I think it's called, I love the flower girl.
I was going to say, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
I was a DJ
You would
for
know.
They're
oldies.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And when they perform today, their voices are just as pristine. Dick Clark actually told them once, sat down with the band and said, look, your time is going to come back around, so keep yourselves healthy.
Sure enough.
And then they ended up doing the Happy Together tour. So they've been touring the whole United States.
But what does that have to do with
Here's
our,
what has to do with it. They came
with our friend Lucinda?
Keep it straight, Paul.
They came over for brunch one day. Jorge said, hey, man, do your Lucinda accent. And I was like, what are you talking about? Why should I do it? Because when she talks like this, and it's rural, kind of East Texas, West Louisiana kind of a thing.
Vocal fry included.
Vocal fry included. Well, I started doing it. And Susan started talking back to me. And we sat there for 15 minutes, both of us talking like this. Lucinda Williams is one of her best fucking friends.
Oh,
And I was like, are you kidding me?
And so she'll play your.
And so she said,
play
no.
your voicemail. Yeah,
she
here's
played-
Lucinda from
she
the
goes-
other day.
Yeah, she goes, no, this was Lucinda Williams wishing me happy birthday on my phone. It's like, happy birthday to you. And I was like, are you kidding me?
This is my question because I was thinking about it. I have a nickname called One More Johnny. Because anytime I'm out having a good time, I'm like, one
see
more.
where this is going.
Just one more, you
my
know?
God.
Oh, yeah. And I don't
like
care what
you.
it is. If it's one more smile, one more laugh, one more drink.
One more drink.
Yes. One more
One
day.
more song,
One
one
more
more
song. If you could relive one moment in your life again, what would it be?
When my grandson Dorian smiled at me the day he was born and he hadn't smiled at anybody else, that was the sweetest thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
Okay, let's be selfish because I'm not saying. I should say my children's birth.
No, we want to know.
But children's births are terrifying. I mean, it's just scary as hell. You don't know how it's going to turn out. And then, But I would say Memphis in May 1970 with my mom and stepdad at, it used to be called Liberty Land. But before that, it was just a local amusement park. And it has, at the time, it was an 80-year-old wooden roller coaster.
They're the best.
It was terrifying. It was awesome, and I loved it. And I was 6 years old. I just have very clear memories of it. Anyway, yeah, that's one I wouldn't mind going back again just to make sure I remember it right.
All right, do we want to play another song?
On an evening much like this one, when the moon was shining like the sun, it was just as bright as daytime. We knew that summer had finally begun. I remember trying to talk to the whippoorwills, two little girls from their bedroom windowsill. I remember trying to talk to the whippoorwills. When I close my eyes, I can hear them singing still. Tried to find you with a flashlight in the night. Counted to 100 and then you were out of sight. Then the rosebud giggled and it gave you away. Your turn now, you count. Then I was on my way. I remember trying to talk to the whippoorwills, two little girls from their bedroom windowsill. I remember trying to talk to the whippoorwills. When I close my eyes, I can hear them singing still. Try to whistle like him, let us sing back to. Let me try it again. This time I think he heard us. Yes, he's singing back. Butterflies need air, they can't live in a jar. When you take the lid off, they fly away like stars. Watch them twinkle away, headed home for the night. Oh, I hope the whippoorwill will sing with us tonight. I remember trying to talk to the whippoorwill. Two little girls from their bedroom windowsill. I remember trying to talk to the whippoorwill. When I close my eyes, I can hear them singing still. When I close my eyes, I can hear them singing still.
Yeah. I don't know how you do that.
you.
I don't know how you did that.
The first time I've ever done that.
He's not ever done
What do
that.
you mean?
That's not what he does.
That's not what I
He
do.
plays this kick up.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad you
electric guitar
did.
solo,
I had to find a way to fill the space, and I thought, I'll just get a harmonica. It'll be
no
easy.
problem. I'll pull it out.
And I'm sitting here, and the dang thing's about to go up my nose, and I
Well, you did good.
Yeah.
thank you.
Went out for the evening with friends to unwind. We were sitting and talking and having a time. Went up to the bar to get us a few shots. When in you walked, baby, and damn, you looked hot. You slipped in beside me and bought me a beer. You said all the things that a girl wants to hear. I got butterflies when you got me alone, but I got more than that when you got me at home. Shame on me for thinking we'd have something worth keeping. You left me out good, but you let me down bad. Turns out one night loving ain't nothing but sad. So sad, Paul. Take it away, baby.
Are you kidding? You said that you'd call me, but you never did. Did you not like my perfume? Was it something I said? I was hoping for true love or at least one more date. But I could sure use a wedding, 'cause I'm 2 weeks late. Shame on me for thinking we'd have something worth keeping. You love me up good, but you let me down bad. Turns out one night loving ain't nothing but sad. Shame on me for thinking we'd have something worth keeping. You love me up good, but you let me down bad. Turns out one night loving ain't nothing but sad. Turns out one night loving ain't nothing but sad. Man, that's so sad.
Oh, we are so ending with that. Sarah Frances Santamaria, artist, songwriter, and frontwoman for VEXINE. Check out their newest album, The Light and the Dark in Everything. And keep an eye out for Sarah's upcoming exhibit and performance at Crossmill Arts in Ashland.
Be sure to catch VEXINE April 12th at Mainline Brewery and April 23rd with Black Velvet at Gallery 5. For more, visit vexine.net.
This is The Hook.
So if you're creative and listening to this,
We want your story.
the messy one
The real one.
and the one that you don't usually post,
You can submit to be on the show by visiting our website and filling out the Be on the Hook form. Just head to johniandjess.com. That's JOHNIANDJESS.com. That's where you'll find everything you need to get started.
And you can follow us on Facebook at The Hook to stay up to date on new episodes, featured artists, and what's coming next.
This has been Jess
And Johni,
reminding you,
every artist has a story.
and every story has a hook.
You're on the Hook with Johni and Jess. Real conversations with musicians, artists, and creatives.
If you're a musician, artist, or creative, your website shouldn't look like an afterthought.
Your brand is your stage, and your website is often the first place people decide if you're the real deal.
River City Consulting builds websites specifically for creatives, musicians, performers, and artists who need an online presence that matches their talent.
They're also the official website agency for the Hook podcast.
Learn more at rivercityconsulting.com and use promo code THEHOOK for serious savings.
The Hook podcast.